Hey everyone, we just finished the HQ5 upgrade, and this is where things really start to open up. Even though we're still at a pretty low HQ level, you can still go over some tips that apply if you're already maxed out. And at HQ5, you get Zookas, one of the highest damage dealers, and Sculptors where you can start making statues. In fact, we'll make the Sculptor right now, use some of our time savers to speed it up, and as we get power stones from attacking bases or rewards, we're going to use it for mainly troop damage, troop health, and resource reward. But with HQ5 done, we can finally finish the crash course, get 40 diamonds, and 100,000 gold. So it should really help out with all these clouds we're about to open. But since we want to open everything possible, we can get a raider up to, I think, the highest level. But looks like we need some more time savers, so we can go ahead and do some more training grounds. They're again super helpful early on because you can get so many time savers, and most of them just speed things up. Like on this side, going around those flames, and even as new players, just learning about how to do mechanics of the game. But with a few of those time savers, get the radar finished, and we can even do another level. So now we have a maxed out radar using all this gold. Because since most of our loot last time was on the crash course, now we actually have to hit player bases to get more of it. Opening all these ones, and some of them even include Dr. T. So when you can finally get both of his islands, 4 times a week you get some more loot. And they just reworked it where you don't get any loot, you get evil coins which you can use for whatever you want. Of course, getting all these diamond chests cause free diamonds. And before we do Dr. T, the idea is still want to rush HQs. The only thing stopping us is XP level. But since we're at a pretty low HQ level, we can still focus on anything that's pretty cheap and doesn't cost a lot of time. And for the most part, we'll be using Brick's first ability, because her cluster grenade does a decent amount of damage, almost like an artillery thrown out of her. But we will start her upgrade because we'll need her second ability for one of the training grounds. Otherwise, get started on attacking some bases. Dr. T is pretty good because once you get down his islands, you see him like 2-4 times a week. You only drop brick and maybe a meat shield, because that way you get some GB and don't lose a lot of troops. Here we can do some clusters and maybe focus on killing those machine guns, because once that mortar goes down, then maybe you can go in the top one, you don't have to worry about the rifles so much. One more cluster going, and right now we can slow it down a bit, but go ahead and do a few flares, get the rifles protected. Just because you have all those boats doesn't mean you have to drop them right away. And of course, you get to make fun of him. Get a lot of loot like VP points. But since we don't want to raid it. Since we have some more VP, now we can start getting these chests. I would say first priority is time savers, then diamonds, then loot. So here we can get some diamonds, next one time savers. Oh, and when the trader comes, I think every weekend or so, you can use tickets from these chests to get even more loot. So more time savers, even more over here. Now that we beat that Dr. T, we can take a look at the other one. This one says Volcano Island, a bit more difficult. And here we can start using some Zookas, because their main advantage is it can outrange flamethrowers. Otherwise they do a lot of damage to heavies and rifles. So let's load some of them up. Since we don't want to overfill in storages, can go ahead and do a few upgrades. See something that's pretty expensive, so maybe a gunboat a little bit. And use some of our gold on doing some upgrades. Right now everything's pretty cheap, so it doesn't really matter. But we use a lot of rifles, so can get those going. And now see what Dr. T has got for us again. There's an Easter egg where, I think on his volcano island there's like a melon patch hidden right there. Just like a normal building, but cool little detail. And the one thing, not only with Dr. T, but player bases, operations, is trying to look for some buildings that are out of range of other defenses. So here we can have brick on the right side for that mortar, and those Zooks outranging those flames. Best part, using 3 times smoke to speed things up. Just getting a bit of GB, which we can use for arting out other stuff. Maybe 3 arts, looks like 1 more. And I guess we can do like 1 cluster on the right side, but as the flames go down, go ahead drop the heavy. Maybe do a reflare to get the heavy in front. And watch that mortar. We paid that mortar to miss those Zooks. Still a bit dicey because when I art that cannon, But maybe you can just flare that machine gun and sniper, hopefully a few Zooks alive. Lost a ton, but looks like only 3 left. Doesn't really matter because as long as you have some that can outrange everything, then you can finish a base. So that mortar not touching us, and just using 3 times snow to finish it up. This will be pretty important later on too, especially player bases, just finding that if there's some ways you can outrange most buildings, then take that chance. But getting a bunch of loot and 5 VP points, which I guess we already have Dr. T today. And with these evil coins, can go ahead and try out this evil shop. Will probably take a while to get a lot of resources, but maybe it's not too bad. 50 coins for 50,000 wood. And once we save up enough later on, we can even get stuff like build tokens and extra builder, really helping out those low levels. Otherwise, I think we'll go back to rifles, or at least 1 heavy and a few rifles, because they don't take a lot of time to train. Zookas are like 15 minutes and everything else is like 1 minute. And another thing that we get in HQ5 is a boom pass. Now if you want to buy it, it's pretty good for progress, because you can make, let's say, well, not really statues, but you can do upgrades faster and build things faster. But again, we're going to stay free to play and still get some of these resources for these chests right here. There's no real rush to get them, so one thing you can do is wait until you have a big upgrade and then get all this stuff. Besides, if you get a higher VP rank, then again you can get even more loot in those chests. But I want to see how strong threat level 1 Dr. T is. We can even take it down. Got some mortars on this side, but maybe we can go from the middle here, all these baby machine guns, and hit the HQ from like right where those mines are. I think our troops should be already done, got all our rifles going, and let's try it out. Again, about free GB, got stuff on this side, stuff on that side, get that first. And maybe we can art out like a few machine guns, maybe 3 over here. And once you get the buildings on the far right, you can go ahead and maybe do a few flares in the middle. Probably a few of them because it's only level 1 flare. And with medkits too, can heal everyone up. Probably 1 more medkit in a bit, get that going. And we should be out of range of most stuff pretty soon. Those mines are like level 1 too. But after that machine gun goes down, we can just flare on this side. Maybe 1 final medkit for those mines. And those machine guns are a little annoying, but I think we might be okay. Even though we have like 1 heavy, 1 rifle and brick, it's all you need for taking down the base. I guess we probably could have arted the right machine gun, but it doesn't really matter. And now with those evil coins, we can get absolutely nothing. But we can start saving it for, again, some more resources, get some wood maybe, later on stone and iron. But now that we have a lot more offense, it's attacking these bases and getting loot for those upgrades. Kind of annoying part is, now a lot of these upgrades are a few hours long, so maybe like setting timers on making sure there's always something upgrading. Especially if you stockpile on a bunch of resources, then it's not too bad. But we don't want to take up too much time, so we're just going to do a bunch of training grounds and get those time savers. Since this one needs Brick's second ability, is a one time that we can use diamonds to speed things up. Because again, on average, if it upgrades 6 hours or more, diamonds are a better value. So now we can get Iron Will and finish it up. Now that we got a bunch of loot, looks like 65 time savers, we can go ahead and speed up a bunch of these upgrades. We'll mainly do things that don't cost a lot, but the priority for later is do offense first, then storages, resource buildings, then defense. And looks like we're finally at XP level 11, so can upgrade to HQ level 6. Need a few more resources, so we can go ahead and start attacking some player bases, because usually they have a bit more loot than the normal ones. And trying to see if we can go around some buildings, avoid them. So let's try from this side. Again, love that we have 3 times mode already. Flare only lasts a few seconds, so gotta do a few of them. And I guess maybe 1 more over here. Just kind of hoping that the rifles last enough. Do a few arts in that mortar. Need a bit more GB. So maybe we can just get it done with rifles. Even though we lost almost all the rifles, they're super cheap to train, and they take almost no time. So only gotta wait 1 minute, and we keep on going. And we can go ahead and start the upgrade. So as we get to higher HQ levels, the upgrades take longer, they're more expensive. So we're gonna do some attacks on the side and make sure you always have something upgrading. Even if it's log on, play 5 minutes at a time, just make sure you get something going. And now, we're HQ 6. Cool thing about HQ 6 is you can finally join task forces. Great way to chat, but mainly start doing operations and get some rewards out of them. And even though when you're higher level, you can do higher operations, get more rewards, it's fine even if you find a task force that does the lowest one. Because either way, it's a few free diamonds every day, and who doesn't like that? Because we're super low HQ and so are the other people in the same task force, we'll just do milk run. I know, the toughest operation ever. But later on we can use our little account and see what we can do. And force points is what matters most in these operations, so even if you can do absolutely nothing like die to these rockets, killing any power cells helps you out. Means you get some rewards later on. And who knows, maybe you have someone in your task force that can do stronger attacks. So sometimes doing a setup hit does even more than just burning to a bunch of rockets and dying. And we do want to speed up our progress, because now we're at the point where still need more XP level for the next HQ, but we're kind of limited on both time and resources. Maybe not so much resources, but at least time. So we'll go ahead and finish all the training grounds. Especially since time is our limiting factor, getting all these time savers means we can just rush through these early HQs. So here we are with the final training grounds, almost like a full-on base. And even though the damage you do here does carry over for like later on attempts, we'll try to beat it in just one. We have rocket launchers and mortars here, so can just use all heavies and see if we can take it down. This one down, maybe use artillery on some of these flames, but looking again, I think we can avoid even most of them. As long as we get the perfect angle right above it, should be fine. So other option on some of these bases, you can take all heavies. But as our last training grounds, should get the final amount of time savers, 22, and now they're all finished. So we went from however many time savers now to 113, so hopefully that should be enough for getting the rest of this XP level. What we do need though is some more loot, so all these player bases we'll try to take down. And now that we've finished all the player bases, we can go on a spending spree. And we don't have so much resources, so mainly looking for upgrades that are pretty cheap in terms of resources. And going back in the boom pass, a bunch of these free stuff here can go ahead and use and hopefully get some more time savers. If not time savers, then the next one is diamonds, then some resources. But now, since we're out of time savers and don't have too much loot, so close to XP level 14, we'll just wait a few hours and get the other upgrades done normally. But that's mainly it for right now, just thinking about those things when doing attacks, finding ways to get free GBE, outranging some defenses, and probably next time we'll have to figure out resource management, because I'm sure it's going to be really easy to get stuck at lower HQs, so finding ways to always get upgrades going, and the right ones. But that's going to be it for today's video, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.